Saturday, September 14th, 2024. Just walking around the apartment complex here in Lviv. So, this video I just wanted to dedicate to the my reaction to the debate. But, first I just wanted to give an update on my friend Sergey, who I got the night vision for and who went to Kursk. So apparently they got caught off guard in the middle of the night. They were sleeping in a house. He was on the second floor. Some guys were on the first floor, some were on the second floor, and a drone came in through the first floor window. The Russians fly drones too. It detonated. He was able to get out alive. He dived out of the window from the second floor onto the ground, broke his arm, but he lost the night vision, and they lost a lot of equipment. They made a cache down on the first floor, and apparently the drone got it. And so, but he was able to raise money for a second set. He put a fundraiser out, because I'm a bit tapped out this month. A lot of new things are coming up for the baby. But yeah, I'm glad he did it. He pulled it off. He's okay. He's back at his unit, recovering. I don't know if he'll come out to Lviv or not. The Army has been a bit jumpy about giving guys leave when they're injured. It's still not a good situation internally. It's hard. Army life, in America is hard enough. I mean, here in Ukraine, it's like on another level. Underfunded, ill-equipped, just fatigued. They're in an active war on their own soil. So it's you can't even compare it to like if you were in the American Army or Canadian Army or British Army or something like that, where you're well fed. And I mean, just getting there, you're younger, 20 years younger usually than the guys here, so it's, yeah, but I'm glad he's okay for now. But when these guys get conscripted in the Army, it's a one-way ticket, and unless this war ceasefires or, Russia surrenders, they're not getting out once they're in. Even if they've been injured, they try to put them back if they can. Or at the very least, they'll have some logistics or support job, so we'll see what happens. But, I'm wishing all the best for him, and, do whatever I can for him when I can. Okay, so the debate, yeah, the Harris-Trump debate, my first reaction right after the debate was that, Trump lost. He was an angry, hot mess, just rambling and going on tangents. Saying a lot of canned stuff that he said before. But I mean, one thing I had to give him credit is like he was saying everything with conviction and unscripted, and really from his heart, whether it was right or wrong, or it was a lie or not a lie. I mean, that's if you've ever been in the military or Navy, you always look for people who, even if they make bad decisions, they do it with conviction, like that a person has a backbone, so and Harris, she was prepared, and she laid traps for him. She was tricking and trapping him and baiting him, and he was taking the bait. And, I mean, if this was like if she was in college, I mean, she went to Berkeley Law School. She would have won the national championship. I mean, she was like definitely had experience in debating, and it was like I said, it was just a massacre. From that perspective. So Harris definitely won the debate, but Trump won the narrative. So now we're like, I think the debate has been now 4 days ago. Everyone is talking about cats in Springfield, Ohio, and I mean, you can go on TikTok and X and YouTube, and you'll find all kinds of videos actually confirming some of what Trump had said. Now, there's hard evidence on the geese being taken, and there's circumstantial testimony evidence on the cats. Nothing about dogs. Nothing. I haven't seen anything about dogs, but I mean, I've researched this before I spoke about it. It's a bigger problem. You know, and what was a deeper story is that, you know, Amazon they have like a lot of jobs there, and you can hire the Haitians who are on like an interim visa. You know, they came over the border and they got interim asylum while their cases are being processed. Or I don't know if it was Amazon or it was a place, it was a factory. Yeah, sorry, it was a factory. I mean, Amazon is hiring a lot in that area. They have a lot of jobs. They're not well paid. You know, so Amazon is glad to have people who will take those jobs, you know, and the landlords are, you know, kicking out the locals, raising the rents, and, you know, putting in people who will pay, you know, because they're getting government assistance apparently. And there's a lot of video to confirm this. You know, you can go search this up on YouTube, TikTok, X, you know, and see people talking at city council meetings and what have you. And so apparently some Americans were fired at $21 an hour and they hired Haitians at $13 an hour. Now in Europe, if you're going to hire a foreigner, you have to prove that nobody, or at least in Norway, and I've seen that, you know, I've seen it in Sweden too. You know, I worked in Sweden. They have to prove that no local can do the job. And then you also have to have to be an immigrant, like on a skilled worker visa and stuff. There's like a minimum salary. It's pretty high. You know, you have to basically have a competitive salary, you know, that you're not undercutting, you know, that they're not doing labor dumping. That's like a really touchy point in Europe, you know, that you cannot do labor dumping. So, and there's been a lot of cases about that. So I don't know why these things are demonized in America. But yeah, I had to write some notes here, you know. So yeah, Trump definitely won the narrative. So people are talking about that, you know, the immigration. You know, basically the cats and all this stuff comes down to the immigration and the border policies, that people are being let in here faster than we can process them and place them, and it's creating imbalances like in small towns where locals are being put out. And so that's the feeling, that's the sentiment. And unfortunately, when you live in a democratic country, that shows up at elections, that, you know, you're putting your own people out, your own citizens out for foreigners, you know, then they're going to vote against you. It's pretty obvious stuff, you know. So what else did Trump? Where else did Trump win the narrative? You know, at the end, there was a big punchline, and this has gone like totally viral. He asks, you know, Harris puts this beautiful closing. Like, you know, like back when she was a prosecutor, you know, all her arguments, everything. Like I said, Harris actually, she had some good substance. I mean, I have to say, from a debate point of view and everything, she presented herself very well. But I have to say, she lacked passion or sincerity. You know, it just seemed very canned, you know, unpersonable, you know, not genuine. A lot of people were saying she didn't seem, you know, she got a lot of practice. Apparently, there's rumors that her earrings were, you know, a hearing aid, you know, and she was able to get all the answers and stuff. But Trump's punchline was like, okay, you've been in office the last 3.5, 4 years. Why haven't you done all of this? You know, where are the 25 million new housing units? I mean, I want to see housing like this in America. Like, you know, knock down a few McMansions and put up something like this, and, you know, have some shops and everything, so you're not beholden to a car. You know, and then we can still have big houses. Like if you just go a few blocks the other way, there's some big houses and stuff. Have it all mixed, you know, so you have like beginning families with old established families, you know, creates diversity in the local schools. You know, so we have a lot of young families here, you know, that are, I mean, there's tons of kids here, you know, tons of socializing, you know, and shops. You know, why hasn't she done this? Why hasn't she pushed for the zoning? Why haven't Biden done this? We have like a housing shortage in America. And now they want to lower interest rates, which is going to make it worse. When you lower interest rates, then the housing prices go up. You know, people's payments go down. So now a $2,000 payment affords you, let's say now, today, a $500,000 house. And if they drop the rates, it affords you like a $600,000 house. You know, so then everyone starts jacking the prices up on the houses. Honestly, you want higher rates. That brings the prices down and encourages saving, encourages buying used items, you know, sewing your own clothes, and, you know, conserving resources. High interest rates are better for the environment. You know, that's my own view. But yeah, Trump won it on the closing. I mean, he, like I said, he won the narrative. If you go on the social media, you start reading the news and everything, everyone is asking those questions. And then Harris, I saw she had an interview in Philadelphia with an ABC News affiliate. And all her answers, like I said, they were good answers mostly, but they were all the same as a debate. There was no speaking with conviction, speaking with like, I'm going to do this. And the other bigger problem Harris has, is let me just see here. Yeah, I'm covering all the topics. That's good. Yeah, the other big problem that she has is her Muslim supporters, Palestinian Arab supporters in Michigan. So she didn't let the Palestinian faction speak at the Democratic National Convention, and she went like full 180, being fully supportive of Israel, Republican style, and she just alienated some of her most loyal voters. And that's the bigger story. Now they have a movement called the Uncommitted movement. So I think they either write in the ballot uncommitted, so that shows up on the radar, like shows up in statistics, or they're going to go vote for Jill Stein. And now personally, I'm choosing now between Trump and Jill Stein. I'm undecided between Trump and Jill Stein, because if we're going to go full board left American, like go socialist, and I believe in a lot of that stuff, actually, like I said, more of this high density housing, taxes on the rich to pay teachers $150,000 a year, get more cops in the inner city, so that we can, that way people want to move into that. There's plenty of housing in the inner city. If it was just safe, people would move in and start renovating those properties. That's another way we can solve the housing shortages, by using more cops. And I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I mean, Jill Stein is probably the closest one to do something about that. So, like I said, if you're going to go left, go hard left. Do it right. Go all the way to the left. She can do it. Jill Stein is a mother of two, Harvard graduate. She's wildly successful. As a doctor. She was a Harvard medical graduate, not just a Harvard grad. So just if you're gonna do it all the way, man. Like now Kamala Harris is like trying to be this like I don't know, like a chameleon. Like I said, she turned on her most loyal supporters, the people that really wanted to see her succeed, and she snubbed them. So can you really believe her? And now going into the discussion about Ukraine, how does this affect Ukraine? Like right now she's saying she's all in for Ukraine and she'll keep the Biden policy going, but once she gets in, I've said this in my previous videos, Palestinians, she'll try to win them back, if she squeaks through this election. Right now it's like very 50-50. The new numbers have come out. She's tied in Michigan. So it looks like this uncommitted movement is real. Taking care of Sudan. I mean, maybe, like I said in the previous video when I was like a little bit leaning towards her, that the people behind the curtain might get her to keep supporting Ukraine. But I don't know. It's like Germany is getting worn out. Some of the European allies are like, the small countries are good, the Norwegians and the Estonians and the Swedes, the Dutch, but the ones that you need, the Germanys, the Frances, the Italys, and the Spains, they're wishy-washy. And, it's like, America, if it goes to war, needs Pennsylvania, California, Texas, Rhode Island and, Vermont aren't gonna, they might have a big heart, but, when it comes to actually like, pallets arriving on the battlefield, they'll be very small. But yeah, you can do the per capita thing. But I've talked about this in a previous video. The per capita thing doesn't matter. It's what you get. The raw numbers matter. So yeah, it's it's up in the air. I mean, Trump and J.D. Vance and Boris Johnson have at least given more clarity on their plan, like to have a DMZ and everything. And Europe is going to have to fight to have the foreign troops on the ground. If there is like a ceasefire, like Korean style, Europe is going to have to step up. And this is going to have to, Europe is going to, America fluctuates. Every 4 years there's an election. Every 2 years there's a House of Representatives election. Every 6 years there's Senate. The senators change. Europe needs to take lead on this and set something up for the next 20 to 40 years, you know, something long-standing that doesn't fluctuate with elections. This is the problem with democracy, is you have to have this inconvenient thing and go out there and convince people to vote for you. I mean, we could solve this easily, and I guess just turn Europe and America into one giant dictatorship and get rid of all this inconvenience, but that's not how it works, and it'll never work that way. I mean, we're the good guys, and unfortunately the good guys have to have forum and, you know, have to have debate, and people's opinions change about things, and Europe should accept that reality and take the responsibility. I wrote in a post on LinkedIn, you know, Europe could start practicing by, you know, taking out, doing a regime change in Hungary, you know, take out Viktor Orban, you know, and, you know, just to put him on ice for a little while, you know, put him in a retirement home somewhere, and they could practice. You know, you could have like a Swedish, you know, commander, and you could have Norwegian officers and German, you know, NCOs, and you could have, you know, Belgian you know, troops, and they could go in there, you know, and they could use their, you know, French-made helicopters. Could all be done with European equipment, you know, HK rifles, you know, and or Glocks or whatever, and you know, that's all European made, and they could do it, you know, and that would be a nice practice run, and then you get Hungary on board, and then they can vote in something unanimously in Europe, like a Ukraine fund, you know, and that Ukraine they'll close the skies with European aircraft. You know, this is the kind of things we need to see from Europe. They have all the stuff there. They have like, they just don't have this unity and leadership. They're always just, you know, messing about. They're always like, you know, they're strange, you know, in my view. You know, they have a really big problem in their backyard, and they're so reliant on America to lead them. I mean, they should really figure it out among themselves to have a unified European army. I mean, this is like obvious that all the European countries should come up with a combined force, you know, instead of having all these like individual armies, you know, that they have now. You know, they have to evolve. You know, we're living in the world of China, America, you know, Russia and India and all these like super states, and, you know, little countries, you know, with all different languages and different rules and stuff. It just, you know, they're gonna be the losers in the evolution, the way I see it. You know, they just can't compete. Already, who is this? Mario Draghi or someone in the European Central Bank said that, you know, all the trillion-dollar companies in the last 20 years were created in the U.S., you know, and nothing was created like this in Europe. No Facebook, no Meta, you know, no NVIDIA, no Microsoft. You know, Eli Lilly is about to touch $1 trillion. Berkshire Hathaway broke $1 trillion. You know, this is all America, because we're one big united country firing on mostly all 8. I mean, yeah, we have all these divisions, but really they're superficial. You know, you go into an office, you know, I mean, I work at a company, there's like woke people, conservative Mormons, all, you know, Arabs, Jews, all working together seamlessly. You know, we don't talk about politics at work. Nobody has any beefs with each other. We're just getting stuff done. You know, so, you know, it's just people in America have some maturity about them to set this stuff aside and just drill down and work. And Europe has to catch up. They're competing with Asia. You know, I mean, I've seen myself, like my dream car used to be a BMW Mercedes, but now my dream car is like a Kia or a Toyota, you know. you know, because I don't have to, they don't give you any drama, you know, and you don't have to take them for service. They don't eat your time. These cars run like Swiss watches, you know, or actually Japanese watches. I mean, the Rolexes even need service, you know, but a Seiko doesn't need any service. So even that's a bad analogy, you know. So I don't know. Europe has to change, and they have to definitely do something about this Hungary thing. You know, this is real garbage. You know, just in their own, you know, on their own doorstep. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got. You know, Harris Harris won the debate. Trump won the narrative. That's what I got, you know. And like I said, my own personal situation is now I'm trying to decide between Jill Stein and Donald Trump. I mean, Harris has just changed too many views, and I don't know if that'll hold when she actually gets in. You know, that's the question. Like, you know, the flip-flopping, and you know, speaking without conviction. You know, it just worries me. The Democrats should have had this convention, and they should have had a slugfest between 3 or 4 people. I would have been much more comfortable if Harris would have won all of that, and she would have done debates and, you know, forced to fight her own party a little bit. I'd have been a bit more comfortable, but I'm not comfortable, you know, with someone who is just thrown in like this, like a replacement part, you know, and you know, or something. You know, she didn't go through the process. It's really unfair. So Jill Stein, she won her Green Party primaries, you know. So, but anyway, we'll see. Talk later. Bye-bye.